everyone, welcome to Coding Techniques again. Today I'm going to show you how to create a rating application, and this is a continuation of our UI series which I told you that we are continuing from our previous video. So if you haven't checked the previous video, go and check that out. Now in this video we are going to work with the star ratings. We are going to provide that, and after giving that, once you are done with your reviewing one, it will be stored. Actually, we won't store it. I will just show you how exactly this can be done, which you can just see it on the screen how it is to be done. Alright, so this is what we are going to design. Let's start designing right now. Now once again, I have created a new project and I have named it as rating app, and I've given a color to our toolbar of warning colors to give great yellow color kind of, or a golden color, because it resonates with our which one? The star rating one. Okay. Now in our SCSS, well, I have cleared up everything, and in our HTML we are going to work directly with our ion content one. So in the ion content, I'm going to work with a list here, which I'm going to loop it later on because this one is also going to be a dynamic. Okay, so within a list I'm going to have an ion list header just to show the number of reviews that are being done. So an ion list header, within that I will have an ion label here, to which let me pass, let's say 500 reviews initially, giving any number. Alright, this is showing up here. That's great. Now after this, I'm going to have an ion item. Now within the ion item, we will again have an ion label because everything we are going to work with an ion label here. And within this, let me pass a div, because I'll just explain you later on why exactly we are using a div here. But within a div, I'm going to pass an ion text. Okay, let me pass great work. This will be the comment that you can simply pass it here. All right, that's great. Okay, let me just pass it in this manner. After that, I'm going to have a p tag because in the next line, I also need to work with an ion text here, where you can simply pass a username or something. So let me just pass user1. All right, so it is coming up. And along with that, I will have a span here, within which I'm just going to pass, let's say 1 day ago. Okay, be one exclamation. So far so good. We are able to show the data here, just the star rating is left. But before that, let me just design it a bit so that it will look pretty nice. First of all, let me give a color to our ion header of light color, which will be directly taken from our variables.scss. Okay, now this is fine, but there is a lot of padding here. If you just want to see how much is the padding, I'll show you. In iOS there is too much of padding here. Look at this, lots of padding to the ion label. You can see 29, sorry, not the padding, it's margin, 29 pixel margin at the top and bottom is 6. But in the Android one it's different. So what am I going to do? Like, if you want to see, you can simply go here and any Android device, just refresh it up and you will see that this is showing up nicely here. So I'm just going to use this design for our iOS also. All right, we minimize it, and what am I going to do? To my ion list header, I'm just going to pass mode to be MD, that denotes material design for Android one. So Android design will be used in iOS. Don't worry, it's not a bad deal to work with the other design one, because you're going to achieve the same using the CSS and other stuff. So why not to use the other design directly, right? That's great. Okay, so now it is fine here also, and I just need to work with the SCSS. All right, but before that, let me just break it down so that it is visible properly. Each and everything is pretty clear to understand what exactly we have done here. Okay, I think it's good to go. Yeah, almost done. Okay, fine, pay with that. All right, now in the SCSS, I'm going to work with the designing part. So let me just paste few designing stuff. So I'm just working with the SCSS here, so I can directly pass ion list. Within that, the ion list header, I'm just giving a font size to the ion label of 0.9 rem. And for the ion item with the ion label, I'm just passing font weight to be bold everywhere. And within the div, I'm just giving a margin top. That is why I'm using a div, because on ion text, you give margin top, it doesn't work. I'll just show you right now. If I just move it within the ion text, you will see that there is hardly some margin here. So that is why I'm using a div here, because it will take the margin top and bottom off. That is why. Okay, now in the p tag, I'm again passing a margin top of 5 pixels. Little bit of margin is required, but this margin 8 pixel is required, because at the top we are going to pass the star rating one. Okay, that is why I've done that. And to the ion text within the p tag, I've just given 0.75 rem, and within this span I'm giving a font weight of normal, because I don't want the bold one everywhere. I'm just passing the bold by passing it here in the ion label one, but I don't want it here. That is why I'm just changing it up. And towards the left side, I just need some margin, because there should be some difference between the two. That is why I've just done that. And we are good to go. This is just basic designing I have done here. I hope you understand it properly. Last thing which I need to do with the designing is to center it up. So class ion text center. Alright, now this is centered up, looking great. So we have achieved the designing part, right? Now it's time to make it dynamic also. Don't worry, I'm just going to work with the reading one, but before that, just complete the whole stuff here. I think that will be better. So I'm going to go to the TS file here, and I'm going to have a property called reviews, in which I already have two objects where I have passed rate to be 5 and in both the cases 5. Well, you can change one of those to be 4 if you want to. Then comment I have passed in one of those, and the second one I have not passed any comment here. Okay, because without comment also someone can review your stuff. Then the username I have given, and any created at date is being given here as a string. Okay, so this is the data which I have prepared. Now let's design it properly. So the reviews one will be equals to the length of the reviews. So reviews dot length will be my reviews one, and I'm going to pass here ng if reviews dot length is greater than 0. All right, that is what I'm checking on the ion list. Otherwise I'm not going to show the ion list if it is less than 0. Then for this particular div here, I'm going to change this particular stuff to be not exactly in this manner. Actually, I need to loop it at first. So ng4, I'm going to use it here. Let review of reviews. All right. And once that is done, I'm just going to with review question mark dot comment, and it will show, and it will only show if this particular comment exists. So I'm just going to give a condition to my div here, ng if this condition exists, then only I'm going to show it up. Now this ng if is not working here, because in the imports we just have the Ionic module. I'm just going to pass common module also. If you're using standalone, if you're not using standalone one, you're using the ng module one where you have the module files, then you don't need to do this stuff because it is already passed in the module file. All right. Okay, moving ahead, I think this is done now. In the second one, we don't have any comments and it is still showing up. Now I just need to change the other stuff also. It's gonna be review question mark dot user underscore name. And finally, the last one will be the review question mark dot created at. All right. So it is showing up. Don't worry, we are going to play around with this particular date and time also, like the way I just show you 1 day ago, 2 days ago. So for the timing, I'll just leave it as it is. Now this data has become dynamic here, which is great. It's time now to work with the rating one. So I'm just going to create a component here. Ionic component will be created within the home page only. I'm just going to create a component called, let's say, star rating. That's going to be my component name here. It is created. You can simply check it here. All right. Now within this, I'm not going to use any plugin. I'm just going to do everything on my own. So let me just show you quickly what exactly I'm going to do at first. I'm going to create a div here. Don't worry, it's giving me an error because I need to pass standalone at first to be true. Along with that, imports in which I need to pass module. All right. Now I think the error will go away. All right. So few more errors are there. Don't worry, I have just made the data dynamic. For the div one, I have passed align. Mostly what we do actually, instead of alignment, I just pass center always, okay, in this manner. But this time I have made this particular one also dynamic. If you don't want to center it up, definitely you can just pass it in this way, because I'm just going to use the same component for showing it up and also for selecting also to pass your review. That is why I'm just passing in this particular manner. So let me just undo this. I'm just making it dynamic here. And along with that, the ion icon to which I have given a star rating, which I'm just going to pass dynamically here. So you must be a little confused, don't worry, let's just finish it up, then I will explain you everything. So here, let me just replace all of it. All right, and import the input one along with that event emitter. I need to import output also, I just need to import. So this is my code, which I'm just going to explain you one by one. So I have created a stars array which will consist of the icon and string. Mostly we don't give this particular object kind, means what type of it, we just pass any here. If you can do any also, but I just want to pass the things that actually I'm going to use. This actually denotes like using a interface kind of stuff. Now within this is the data which I am passing by default. So icon will be star outline and the color will be the medium color by default, and I'm creating 5 star icons, means 5 data that will be filled up in this particular one. So it will be looping up 5 times because we'll be giving rating out of 5. Okay, so that is why this is being prepared here, and the color is given medium because initially if it is not selected then there will be outline, star outline. Okay, that means the inner part will be empty and you will have a medium color in the border one. That's what we are going to prepare here, which you will see just now. If I directly use it up, let me just show you. But before that, let me explain you the other stuff also. So I'm just passing initial rating to be 0. Now where this initial rating is useful, I'm just going to explain you that. But before that, let's finish up the other stuff because this will be used here actually. Now the second one is a read only, whether you are just reading it or you are actually working with the click functionality here. So by default I have passed false here, and alignment for the div one is by default centered. So the div which we have here will be aligned to the center part directly by default, and I have given a size of the icon which we will be seeing to 2 rem. You can change it dynamically. Okay, finally whatever rating will be, we'll be clicking that up, and whatever we have selected, like you have selected 4 stars, so the number 4 will be output from this particular rating change one event. This will be triggered. Okay, and how we are going to do that you will just see here. Now I'll just remove it because this dot initial rating, okay, I will be needing in some other place also. Now what exactly it's being done, I have prepared a function called set rating, in which you will pass the number of rating here. Say like it is 4, then it's going to run a loop with the star length. Okay, there are 5 stars, so it will go on till the 5th star, and it will check if the rating is greater than equals to I plus 1. Okay, that's what I am doing because I is initialized to 0 and I need to add 1 in order to check whether the rating is minimum. It should be 1, right? That is why I'm doing that. And once that is done, at the initial position, that means at the 0th index, I'm just going to set the icon to be the star one and the color to be warning one. Okay, similarly I'm just going to look for the other one, rating is greater than I. Still if the rating is greater than I, then you can simply have the half star. Well, this condition you can simply remove. We are not working with the half star here, so I can just remove it if you want to, but let's keep it. Okay, then in the else condition you are simply having the outline one. That's the only thing. Okay, so I hope it's clear here what exactly we are doing. And finally I am emitting the event of ring change, the value that we are getting in the rating towards the wherever you are using this particular component. Okay, so this functionality will be used when you are entering this particular component, because the ng on in it, this function is called and the initial rating is being passed. So if it is 0, then 0 will be passed here. That's how it is being done. Now if the 0 is passed, then everyone will have star rating of like star outline and medium one. That's it. Okay, so this is being done, and if you click on it, well, there is a click event also in the HTML. I'm just passing click event also, and the name and everything is, you can just see here, name is star.icon, color is star.color that we have already passed in the array one, right? And we are changing it in the for loop. And then the font size also I've changed in this particular manner, because directly using the style one, style.font size, this you need to remember that the second one should be the capital one. How we write font size, font hyphen size, but here we don't do in that particular manner. We need to pass it in this particular manner here. And in fact you can use .px also for pixels, but I'm not doing that. I'll just directly pass the value, okay, as a string here. Then for the margin right, you can see I've just passed in pixels, so it will take the value in pixels. So I've just passed 5 here. And if you don't want to do it in this particular manner, you can simply pass it in the CSS also. Some of the stuff like this margin right, I don't think it required here. This is mostly given to keep some spacing between the two icons, the star one, okay? Otherwise it will be quite close and it won't look nice. That is why I've done that. All right, so this, I think you have understood. Now the click event, whatever rating index is there, that means if you are at the 0th index, it will be adding 1 to that and will pass on to the rate function. In the rate function also, we are actually doing the same stuff. I'm just checking here. If read only is false or doesn't exist, then only I'm just going to call this particular functionality. Otherwise, I don't need to have a click event there. That is why I have put on this condition. Now, once that will be called, again the same stuff will work. So I hope it's clear to you, because it's pretty simple if you understand it properly. Now, if you are clear with this, then we can move ahead to our HTML of the home page. And in order to work with it, actually we need to run to the TypeScript one, and I need to pass here one thing that's gonna be star rating component. I import it, and it is imported here. Once that is imported, I'll go to the HTML of the home page, and in the ion label, what I need to do, I can simply pass app star rating. That is the name of the selector there. You can simply check it in that particular component. All right, so this is how we need to pass and how it's going to come up initially. So let's say I'm just going to pass here initial rating, let's say 0. Okay, what comes up? Well, without initial rating also it should show, but why it is not showing? I need to go to the star rating one. I think there is some issue. Okay, I'm using ng4 here. I need to pass common module, which I haven't passed. So in standalone, you need to like keep a check of all this stuff. Now you can see the star rating is showing up automatically. All right, so what am I going to do here? Instead of this star rating one, I'll have some more attributes here, which will be the initial rating. That will be review (rate). Fine. And I've just provided to be read only, then alignment to be left side, otherwise it's gonna be towards the center by default. If I just remove it, you'll see at the center, which I don't want, so I'll just undo that. And size, I have given 0.85 rem, so you can simply change it here as per your requirement, because if I give 0.9 or more than that, it's going to be a little bigger, which I don't think will be good. If you can try it up 0.9. So I think 0.9 is also fine. You can work with that. I can buy that up. So this is done. We are good to go with the viewing stuff. This is ready now. So we just need to add some functionality to add more reviews to that. Okay, and for that I'm going to use something called a button, and within that, on click of that, I'll be opening up a model here. So let's work with that now. In the HTML, what am I going to do? I'm just going to have a fab button after this ion list here. So I'm just going to have a fab button whose slot will be fixed horizontally at the end part and vertically towards the bottom part. This is a button that's showing up, and I have an ion fab button within that, to which I have just given an ID of open model. Don't worry, I will work with trigger of the ion model, to which I'll just give open model there. That is why I've just given an ID. You can remove it for the timing if you are not sure about it. Okay, now I've given an ion icon whose name is add here. That's it. So this is done. Now I don't need to make any changes here, just need to work with the ion model now on click of it. Okay, so I'm going to use a bottom sheet model. That's gonna be this particular one. Now within this bottom sheet model, I have just given an identifier read model, which will help us to dismiss this particular model, and I've given trigger to be open model. Now this particular one will only show up when I give any of those wherever I want, on whichever on click event I want that. So I'll just pass ID here, because on click of the fab button I need that to be triggered. So open model, the name should be same that I'm passing trigger one. That is very much important. Now initial breakpoint is 0.75, which should be the value to be passed from the breaking points array. Okay, so 0.75 already exists, otherwise it will not take that particular value. So I've given a big array just to have the proper values here. You can just remove 0. I think that was not needed, but if you want, definitely you can pass it also. Still, it won't make any difference. Now on dismiss, I'll have a function on will dismiss here. Let's work with that in our TypeScript one. So I'll just close this reading one. In the TypeScript, what am I going to do? What was the function name? On will dismiss the event here, copy and paste it here. All right, the function is created and I'll just name it as event of type any here, and we can log that particular value, whatever I'm getting in the event, in this way. Okay, so this function is ready, the error is gone, and if I click on it, I won't see anything right now because I have not given any content here. So let's work with the inner content, which will be passed within an ng template. So ng template, within this particular template, I will have my actual content. Okay, so let me start off with an ion header here. So this will be my ion header, in which I have just passed click event, and like if you have a cancel button at the left side, don't worry, I'll just show you after getting rid of this particular error because I need the dismiss function. Now in order to get rid of this error, I'll go to the TypeScript, and actually I need to work with this ion-modal identifier here in order to dismiss this particular model. So I'll just go here and have this view child, in which I'm just passing the same identifier name, and I've given a property name of rate model, where exclamation is given because initial value we haven't set here, so it is strictly checking the TypeScript one. That is why not symbol is being given or exclamation one is given. Otherwise, you just need to go to the tsconfig file at the bottom here and set this strict to false if you don't want to do that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm happy with that. I've just kept it, and ion-modal I have just imported right now from at Angular's Ionic/Angular. So that is the, now the errors I think is gone. No, not exactly gone. We need to work with the dismiss function. So in the TypeScript one, let me pass here dismiss function. Okay, where I'll simply check is rating is given or not. Don't worry, I'm just going to explain you later. First, get rid of the error, and if I just click here now, you see this is our review model that is showing up. This is a title, this is the cancel button. If I click on it, nothing is happening right now because I haven't done anything here in the dismiss one. So if I just pass here, let's say let data of type any to be null initially, because I need to send some data also if you pass the, if you click on the save button, right? So I'm just going to have this rate model dot dismiss function, and if there is some data then it will be passed, otherwise it pass an empty data. Fine. Now if I just open this up, if I click on the cancel button, it's getting closed, and if I hit on the save button, it is also getting closed. Fine. If you just want to see what is the value that is coming up in our on will dismiss one, this event is getting triggered. Within that we have detail, and the data is null in both the cases because we are not passing any data while dismissing the model here. Fine. All right, so I hope it's clear. Pretty simple, right? So this is ready now. I just need to prepare the content within. Let's work with that now. In the HTML, I'm going to work with that. After the ion header, I need to work with the main content. So in the main ion content, I'll just give a class of ion padding initially. Then I'll do everything within an ion row here by using columns. Okay, within the ion row, I'll have ion column of size 12. And within this ion column, well, at first I'm going to pass a label here. This will be my label. Provide your valuable feedback. All right, if I open it up, this is coming up. That's great. We will work on the designing part later on. First of all, let's have all the stuff, and I've given class of ion text center, that is why it is centered up. Now the next thing will be the rating one. So I'm going to have another ion column, and within that I'll have the app star rating, in which I'm just going to pass or trigger the event of rating change. Whenever you are selecting something there, then rate change will trigger something, the value of it, and I'm going to set rating dot rate will be equal to the event that is getting triggered. That means the value that is being set. You can use a function also for doing this. You can simply pass a function here and define that up in the TypeScript one, but I just want to do it directly here. So both cases are fine to work with. All right, now there was an error because I need to set the rating here. So rating of type any, an empty object, I have just set it up. Now if I just look at it, you can see star rating is coming up at the center part. All right, so this is also showing up. Now I just need something for the comments also, so let's work with that. Let me close this ts config, and in the HTML I will be needing another column of size 12, or you can have another row also, but I just won't want to define lot many rows. Column is fine, and I've given a class of rate here for this app rating. We are going to just work with that, but for the time being, let's have an ion text area also, to which I have given label to be empty. Number of rows will be 2, and a placeholder any comments, and this is an optional one. Our app is going to work pretty fine. Then ng-modal, just to trigger the value whatever is coming up from the event, it will take that particular value, means whatever you're typing, it will take that, and you can just pass the same value there once again. All right, so that is why this input and output is being given. This is for input, the square bracket, and the other bracket is for the output one. All right, so now in order to get rid of this error, I need to use a forms module also. Just need to import it here, forms module, because ng-modal is used within the forms one. Now you see the error is gone, and if I just click here, all of them is coming up. It's time to work with the designing part of the ion-modal, because I'm not happy with the design part here. So this save button actually will save all these things, but now it's time to work with the designing part here. So I'll just scroll towards the bottom, and after this particular ion list, I'm just going to have some more designing for our ion model here, within which I have the ion row, and within the ion row you have an ion column. So in fact you can pass all of it within the ion column also. Let me just close it if you want to, otherwise that also will work. All right, so now let me just align it. All right, done. So to the ion label I have given, let me just show you it first, and then I'll explain. This is the one. To the ion label I have given letter spacing of 0.5 pixels and font size of 0.9 rem. Then I have given dot rate, that was a class that I have given to, I think, to our column one, I think, right? Yes, that is why it is not showing up that particular stuff, because this class should be outside of it. So I'll cut this and will pass it after the ion column, because this class actually works only on the ion column. Okay, so it is not within the ion column. You need to understand that part. Now within the ion column, I also have the text area, to which I have given border radius of 5 pixels and a background color of light. So it will show up the light color stuff and little bit of background border radius. Now there is some spacing also, because margin top and bottom is being taken here. All right, to the rating one. So this is looking nice. If I just click here, just look at this. This is working, isn't it? This is how it is showing up. 3, 4, 5. If I go for this particular one, this is working, this one working. Great. So our rating one is working nicely. The designing part is also done. Let's jump to the HTML and see if anything else is left to work with. Well, actually few of the conditions which we need to take care of. So what I'll do here, I'll go to the TypeScript one, and the main functionality is this dismiss one, which I just need to prepare, because if you are selecting something and hitting on the save button, then I need to perform some functionality here. Now here I'm simply going to check if isRating is true. Okay, so if it is true, then I'm just going to work with some functionality here, because in the HTML, if you just check this particular one for the dismiss one, the save function, this is the one where I'm just passing dismiss to be true. So if it is true, then I need to work with this particular one, where actually I need to set this particular data to be this.rating, and then set this rating, means I have to empty that up, and this data will be passed. Okay, but what if we don't have any rating? If someone is not providing any rating, then what do we actually need to do? We need to keep a track of it. So I'm just going to check if rating, this dot rating question mark dot rate equals to 0. If it is 0, then I need to track it up. Either I can simply pass the return one, so it will not go ahead and it will simply return, or you can work with a toast message to show that up nicely. And this time we are going to work with ion toast here. So in order to work with the ion toast, well, I need to pass few properties here. Let me just do that, or before that, let me just minimize it, and I'm going to pass is toast open. I have set it to false initially, and error message I'll be just passing, which I have given it as string and initial value is not there, so I've just given a exclamation symbol. Now within the HTML, I just need to work with the toast message. Actually, we need to pass or work with the ion toast here. And that needs to be done after this ion row. So I'm just going to have this ion toast here, in which it will open up if is toast open is set to true. And the message, error message, whichever I'm going to pass will be passed here. Duration I have given 3 seconds. You can increase that if you want to. Color I have given as danger. And once this is dismissed, I'll just simply call the set open function, which I'm just going to create, which will set is toast open to false. Okay, and this particular function I'm just going to create it here. After the constructor set open function, I'm just going to set the value that is being passed within this particular one. That's it. So once you do that up, you are good to go with this particular stuff, but still you need to pass here. What you need to pass? This dot set open, you need to set it to true here. If you set it to true, then the toast message will show up, and what error message you want to pass, you just need to pass it here. Let's say please provide rating. All right, so this is the toast message I'm going to pass, and it will open up. Let's check it. If I just open this up and I won't select anything, if I hit the save button, you can see please provide rating toast message is showing up. Now if you can do one more thing, you can just make it disabled on certain condition, but still I think this one is much better to work with. All right, so both ways are fine. Now if you just select something and pass any comments, let's say ABC, any comment, or let's see what happens if I hit the save button. Let me open this up. All right, I'll just check the console one. Let's hit this and I get the event in which I'm getting the data within the detail one. You can see rate and comment is showing up. That's great. It is working. So we just need to work with the on will dismiss function now, because that's where I'm going to get the data. You can work with this one also if you want to, but I just want to work with this particular function, because even if you hit the back button, it's going to work. All right. So at first logging is being done, but I'll change the logging one to be event.detail.data if there is any data. Then I'll just pass every data within the constant called data. If this data exists, then I will work with something. So I'll simply check if this data exists, then we will work with some functionality here. So we need to show the latest review at the top, right? And in order to do that, I'm just going to create a variable called review and initialize a value to be an empty array. Then I'm just going to push a data that is the latest data that we are getting from here in this particular one by making a copy of it, because I need to add some more values to it. Like the username, I just need to pass what will be the username, user plus review length, and I'll add it 1 to it. That means earlier it was user 2, right? So I'll have user 3, then user 4, like that. I'm just preparing it up. You can give any name you want. Okay, just doing that for fun purpose. And then created at will be the new date that will be passed. So you can just play around with the new date also if you want to transform it, but I'll just keep it in this manner. So this data will be passed initially, and then finally I need to concatenate with the earlier data. So that can be done in this particular manner. So reviews equals to reviews.concat this dot reviews. So reviews variable will have all the data related to the latest review along with the earlier reviews. All right. So it will be having the latest review at the top and the other reviews at the bottom part. And then finally, I'm setting this dot review to be the actual review variable that we have set it here, and I'll just make a copy of it and pass it to the this dot reviews one. Finally, we'll have the reviews of the latest one. So this is what I will be doing in on will dismiss function if the data exists. So now we can simply try this up. If I just click on this button and give a rating of, let's say 4, or 4 is fine, we haven't given that. So let's say course is good, kindly add date by functionality. That's what we are going to just do it right now. Okay, let me save it, and you can see this is coming at the top and others at the bottom part. So this is working nicely, right? Now let me just check everything is working here properly or not. And this one I have just wrapped it just to be on the safe side, otherwise it will not show up properly because this is within the ion label, right? So it can now take 2 lines, 3 lines, how much you want. Okay, so everything is good to go except this particular one. So we need to create a pipe for it. And you can see here the number of reviews is also showing up. So everything is done. Now it's time to work with the pipe one. For the pipe, what am I going to do? Ionic G pipe. Within the pipes folder that will be created automatically, I'll name it as date ago. All right, that's going to be my pipe name. And I'll create another folder of same name. Then within that, I'm going to have a date ago pipe. That's how I'm going to prepare it. What's wrong? Okay, it is saying could not find an ng module, right? Hope, yeah, that's how you need to work. If you're working with this standalone one, you need to pass dash dash standalone at the very end. Otherwise, this will give you an error here. So now this is created. Let's check it out here. We have this particular one and two folders are created. That's great. So this is how it looks like, and we are going to transform this into the way we want. Now, first of all, I just need the value and no arguments. I think I don't need that, so I'll just transform it in this manner of type any so that I don't get any errors. Now I can simply check here if value exists, then only I'm just going to go ahead and return the value. Just for the time being, we are going to just transform it, else I will just return null here. Fine. All right, so this is what we are going to do. Let me pass it any here and let me just comment it. If you want, definitely you can pass it. Okay. All right, now we just need to work with the transformation here. Now the first step is to convert the value that we are getting in date and time into milliseconds so that we can work with that in seconds and other stuff. So in order to do that, what am I going to do? I'm just going to create a constant called seconds, which will be equals to mat.floor. So it will take the highest value, and this plus new date function. You have already seen the new date function that gives you the current date and time. Adding the plus symbol here will convert this whole stuff into milliseconds. So it will give you the value in milliseconds. All right. That is why it is being done. I'm just going to subtract the current date and time in milliseconds with the value that is being passed inside this. And once that is subtracted, we will divide it by 1000 because it was in milliseconds. So we need to convert that into seconds. That is why dividing by 1000 will convert that to seconds. Now I'm going to check a condition here. If seconds is less than 29, that means it is less than 30 seconds. You can just give less than equals to, I think. If it is less than equals to 29, then you are simply going to show just now. Okay, or I think less than 30. Fine. I think less than 30 will look nice. Less than 30. It's up to you how you want to play with this stuff. Otherwise, I'm going to work with something, but let me just return this value at the very end, because if there is some error also, still I don't want to have any trouble here, because I don't even want to pass null. I just need to pass the value. If it doesn't exist also, it will have the same value only. Fine. Now here I just need to work with this particular functionality. Let me just align everything properly. Now this is one liner. Okay, remember that is why no braces is being given. Just a comment is being given here just for your understanding. Let me align this properly. All right, so this is aligned. Now here what is being done? I have just taken interval like in milliseconds, in seconds. So how many seconds in minutes, hours, then in an year, I have just given a calculation of all of it and pass it in a constant called intervals. All right. Now I have just created a variable here called counter. Now I'm using here for in loop. Now if you do not know about for in loop, it's similar to a for loop only, but here we don't need to give any initialization or incremental stuff. We're just using the in operator. That is why it is for in loop. So constant I in intervals. That's how it is being done. That's it. And the loop will start. So within this loop, I'm just going to initialize my counter to the value of seconds divided by the interval I. So initially it will divide by the year, then month value. So this is how interval I will give the value of this particular index, and I will be actually showing you this particular index value, that is year, month. Okay, that is how it's being done. Now you will get the maximum value of it because floor returns the greatest integer less than or equals to its numeric argument. Fine. So if you get this value greater than 0, then you will simply need to work with this condition here. All right. So if it is equals to 1, you can simply return counter plus, counter means the value that you're getting here. All right. So 1, then whatever the index value is, whether it is year, month, week, say like 1 week ago. Fine, that is how it is being prepared, because this is what a human can understand pretty easily. Now, if the counter value is greater than 1, that means there are more days or more number of weeks other than 1, then you will simply have the counter value, then s will be added here. That's the only thing. So don't worry, it's not only days, it can have an like 1 hour, 2 hour ago, then weeks, months, years, everywhere it will be done in the same manner. So this is just checking if the counter is 1, then it will show up like 1 day, 1 hour, something like that. Otherwise 2 days, 2 hours, s will be added. That's the only thing it's being done. So our custom pipe is being prepared, and this is the name that is being given to this particular pipe. Now I just need to work with this particular pipe here directly in our HT homepage TypeScript, and I just need to import it here because this is also standalone. So date ago pipe, the suggestion is coming up. I'll just import it. Once that is imported, I'll go to the HTML and I'm just going to work with this particular one. Where is the design part? At the top, I think. Right, created at, I'll give a pipe symbol in this manner. Okay, and we'll pass here date ago. That's it, and you will see it is showing up 6 months ago, 1 week ago. Great. If I add some new ones, let's check it out what happens. Let's say reading 4 and comment course is good, kindly add, let's say, the rating feature. Okay, all right, let me save it, and there you go. Just now it is showing up. Let's add one more. I'll give 5-star rating and I'll just pass awesome course. Keep up the good work. Looking forward for more courses from you. So I'm just promoting my own courses. Okay, you can check my courses if you want to. The links out there in the description. That is why I'm just doing that up. Just kidding, guys. So just up to you. Okay, fine. Still this is not showing up properly. Why is that so? I think I have given that. All right, to the comments I haven't given it actually. So I just need to pass here a class ion text wrap. I think, where did I give them? Ion text wrap. Let me just search for it. All right, here I've given. Okay, fine. I think I just forgot. Not to worry, let's try it once again. I'll just read it and write it again. It's long sentence. Awesome course. Once again, I'm promoting my own course. Keep up the good work. You can write the same comments if you're liking the courses. All right, so given a long sentence, let's try it, and it is showing up nicely here. You can in fact use ion text justify if you want the stuff to be justified properly, but I think I'm happy with this stuff. So this is the application which we have just completed. So I hope you like this particular video. If you like this video, do hit the like button, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to get all the latest notifications. All right, so with this, I'll wrap up this lecture here. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't checked the courses, do check it out. Link is there in the description, guys. I'll see you next time.